Welcome back for another episode of the Ross Bolen podcast. I am your host, Ross Bolen, here with Florida's own J-Bone. Jared Borslow, how are you?
I'm doing well. Speaking of Florida's own, my favorite brand of orange juice is Florida's Natural, and the type I get is called Most Pulp. They literally couldn't put any more pulp than they put into it.
So you're not Tony Soprano style.
What does he do?
I like the one that says some pulp, and then his wife throws a cordless phone at him. That's Tony Soprano style.
Now, I like it to be, it's like I'm drinking a milkshake.
Okay.
At that point. It's so pulpy, it's mostly pulp.
I'm a some pulp guy. I'm like Tony. I just don't present that information to whoever purchases my orange juice in the same way that Tony chooses to. But we got a really big show today. Really big show.
Really big show.
We're both coming in feeling refreshed after vacation. Jared got some family time in the Sunshine State. I got a half-day vacay in myself, which I don't really think is a thing, but that's the best I can do for now. I caught a massage.
Oh.
And a pedicure on my half-day, and I hadn't been to get a massage or a pedi in a few months, and have admittedly been slipping on the self-care side of things as of late. So, look, not all of us have time to travel around the world and jack our dicks on every continent like Instagram influencers, and I struggle just going 30 minutes in the car right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's why we smoke weed. To quote the great Frank Ocean, roll the marijuana, that's a cheap vacation. So I went and got a massage and pedicure to make my feet pretty for all the supporters on our OnlyFans and Jared. And it finally happened.
Wait.
My first time getting a massage from a man.
Oh, okay.
I've only gotten like 4 of these in my life, mind you.
4 massages?
All the prior ones were by the same lady. Minus one, I think. And this was the first time that I had man hands on me. And straight dudes raised in a system of toxic masculinity that go on to join, homoerotic drinking clubs in college don't tend to do well with other men touching their bodies. It's just a thing I've noticed every single time I've tried to tweak my straight friends' nipples. They get all weird about it, and it's like, dude, just because I'm not a woman doesn't mean I can't enjoy your nipples. So yeah, it can be a little weird having man hands all over your man body, especially if you're super horny, just laying there trying not to Costanza. Not that that's what happened to me. And that's when you realize something, okay? It's that it is even more weird for the masseuse. What an unusual job that is. Out of all the weird jobs, and we have odd jobs. We talk into microphones for money. Strange. But so is like your job all day, every day is to use your hands to help the other humans by physically touching them. That's weird. Touching strangers' bodies all day. Like, I've seen the strangers, man. I've been to Schlitterbahn, Jared. Most of them are gross. You don't want to touch the other humans. I guess that's what the money is for, like Don Draper said. But damn, you really have to care about people and helping them to be a masseuse. So, to start today's show, shouts to masseuses. We stand with you against Deshaun Watson. Male and female. Anyway, it was really pleasant. He worked the shoulders and neck where I carry a lot of my stress, finished me off, and that was that. Cannot more highly recommend you try massages as a method of self-care, even if you've always been anti-massage like me. I was 32. First time I ever got a massage in my life. It was amazing, honestly. I haven't made a good enough habit of it, though. Like, to at least keep it in the rotation. Like, once a quarter even. Jared, you need to get in there.
Yeah, I was supposed to get a massage 3 weeks ago, but I had an insane amount of poison ivy on my legs, and so I wasn't allowed to.
Darn.
I should have just shown up and not said anything.
They go, come on, guy.
He just spreads it to the rest of my body after massaging my leg. It wouldn't have been great.
He does it with latex gloves on. That's an uncomfortable massage.
I would not feel good.
No. I got a divorce before I ever got a massage in my life. Isn't that wild? That's not right. Treat yourself, people.
Yeah, not a lot of people can say that.
Self-care is key. Part of taking care of yourself is making sure you look good, and our first sponsor of the day can help you there, Jared. This episode of RBP is brought to you by Cuts Clothing. Fellas, the sport of business means demanding excellence from your craft and wardrobe. Your fits need to be versatile, blending timeless style and comfort so that you look as good as you feel. And for that, there's Cuts Clothing. These are the best t-shirts in the game. You see this tee here, Jared?
God.
On my body?
It just fits you like a glove.
That's Cuts, baby. Whether you're hustling for promotion, working on your golf swing, or just chilling with friends, Cuts Clothing keeps you feeling good and looking sharp. Built for the performance in the boardroom, the bar, or the gym. Cuts Clothing. Wherever the game takes you, they got you covered. GQ magazine calls it the only shirt worth wearing, the perfect t-shirt. Accomplished. Cuts became world famous for making shirts that look as great as they feel, whatever life throws your way. And as I've said, I'm wearing Cuts 3 to 5 times a week currently, and now they're reinventing work leisure below the waist as well. Cuts just released their new always-on joggers designed to never take a day off, even when you do. Everyone knows I'm a joggers guy. Everyone knows I ride for Cuts tees and hoodies. And now we've got joggers.
Yeah, it's like you jog every day. You don't, I don't think, but you wear so many joggers that people look at you and assume that's your biggest hobby.
They do. Cuts is taking over my closet, making sure Jared and I look good going into fall and winter now that we've crushed summer, and we appreciate that greatly. Whether you're commuting to the office or out on a date, Cuts joggers offer comfort that never quits, style that never disappoints. For a wardrobe as ambitious as you are, as seen on the world's top athletes like Patrick Mahomes, Damian Lillard, Tim Tebow, Bryce Harper, just to name a few, it's not just a lifestyle. It's not just clothing. It's work leisure apparel for the sport of business. Get 15% off your first order at cutsclothing.com/RBP. That's cutsclothing.com/RBP for 15% off your first order of Cuts. Speaking of fashion, Jared, there have been major developments in the sneaker game over the last few years that I am only now wrapping my feeble mind around.
Does it have to do with bots?
Yeah, a little bit. Mainly that of custom sneakers and like small batches of designer shoes made by these folks who came up doing a lot of what made, like, you've heard of Off-White, right?
Yeah, of course.
You've seen Virgil Abloh. You're familiar with him, the dude who created Off-White. Now he's the head of Louis Vuitton or something. Travis Scott, right? The things that made those guys famous designers, they took existing product and tinkered with it until they made it different in a way they thought was dope. Boom shakalaka. That was it. So you got Virgil and Off-White and Travis and his Nike partnership out of all that. And then you got dudes like Mache, as he's known. Real name Dan Mache Gamache. His last name's Gamache. This dude, I'm wearing some of his shoes right now. One of his boxes behind me. He was a sneaker customizer for 18 years, which basically means he was taking shoes, drawing on them, changing them in a way that made them even better looking, turning each sneaker into a piece of art almost. Did that for 18 years before he dropped his own shoe in 2020 called the Mache Runner, which is what I ended up on. Our Bolen Media lawyer, Brandon, actually turned me on to this dude, and I was like, you bastard, because it cost $300. It's not cheap. But I'll get to how that ties in as well. Here's a 2018 headline on Mache, again, who's just one of very many famous custom shoemakers at this point. This 38-year-old went from his mom's basement to making 6 figures as the NFL's go-to sneaker artist. So he's a huge Minnesota Vikings guy.
Okay.
And essentially, I don't know how, but he got a plug with one player who let him customize his cleats for the game. That snowballed, right? To the point that if you're paying attention now in 2021, if you see, like, I think both Diggs brothers, actually, but Stephon and his brother, crushing it on the Cowboys, will rock Mache sneakers every Sunday with something different on them. He did like a Norm Macdonald sneaker that we put on our Instagram at one
Adam
point.
Thielen, I think.
Yeah, he does Thielen sneakers every Sunday now, or Monday or Thursday.
Sneakers or cleats?
Cleats, excuse me. Cleats. Thank you, Jared. So yeah, I'm wearing the St. Charles streetcar colorway of the Mache Runner right now. And so here's the thing. Here's what you lose when you go Nike and Adidas and shit, because obviously they have stockholders and revenue goals and use child slave labor to make their shoes and shit, allegedly, or whatever, bitch-ass lawyers. You lose quality. You lose craftsmanship. Which sounds cheesy, but like that's the thing Kanye was kind of able to recapture with the Yeezy line. Not so much anymore, but back when. That feeling like you're holding something extremely high quality and not just like a piece of shit shoe with a logo slapped on the side of it. Like the designer was a damn artist. And he wanted the shit to look and feel and be well made. That's what you want when you buy a product, right? You want to feel that quality, a level of care and customization is, I think, preferred by most of us at this point. Nobody wants to look just like everybody else all the time. It's kind of annoying.
We did in college, though.
Yeah, it was terrible. Concept proven right there. Worst looks of all time.
In college, my whole thing was like, I need to look as much like everybody else as possible so that
you don't stand out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I joined a fraternity.
Yeah. That's not why I joined a fraternity. Mine was for the stuff we talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But these Mache runners, they're amazing. So, like, I'm just going to, like, try to... Can I take one of these off without ruining the entire set today? So, like, kind of first look, if you don't really know sneakers or you don't really know, like, if you don't care, you may not think much of them. I mean, it's just kind of a standard sneaker, right? Like a green shoe. One of the things that's really grown on me about this one, first of all, the St. Charles runner is like to, I guess, pay respect to the St. Charles streetcar in New Orleans, and he's gone to like each major city. He did a Minnesota shoe that's like Vikings purple, obviously. That's the same shoe, but a different colorway. The Mache runner, again. And so like this whole damn shoe is like supposed to commemorate this streetcar, the St. Charles streetcar in New Orleans. The box that it comes in is a streetcar box, but it's a shoe box.
Yeah, I do like the custom box. That's pretty cool.
It's super cool. It's like a really cool element of getting one of these, obviously, but you know those Vibram 5-finger idiot shoes?
Yes.
Vibram.
Okay, so it's the same. They use Vibram for their rubber.
The sole is Vibram.
Yep.
Use Vibram for the sole. It's super comfortable. And then it's almost like the same shape as a Yeezy 700. It's like a classic runner, but with Vibram soles and then this incredible Mache custom design with like the beautiful suede and this shit, Jared. The inside of it, though, that's almost like a bowling shoe feel.
Yeah, actually, it looks like pleather, kind of.
It's leather.
It's real leather.
Leather.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's why them shits cost $300.
Makes sense.
They're man shoes. Don't get me wrong. This is not like you're 18, you go buy some custom sneakers and then go to the frat house and come all over each other's shoes. That's not what these are for. Do not do that to these. That's why but to get back to like kind of how this evolved out of the modern sneaker game, the shift in the culture has been a two-part deal because hype beast resale culture, as it like escalated through the Virgil strapping shit onto existing Nike shoes and Travis turning the logo upside down, it completely bodied the old model of sneaker releases and shopping for most sneakerheads. Like, you can't get new shoes because the bots buy all of them and scalp them. It's like ticket scalping in an event, right? You know of a hot concert. So you buy tickets to the concert, scalp them, higher price. That's illegal, right? Cops bust people for this outside the stadium back in the day. Then it turned into a business on the internet. StubHub, all these different places, right? That you can buy resale tickets now. That fucked up the event game. Same thing has happened in sneakers. Even with the customs, you can go pay $75 over retail for some of these right now on StockX or whatever. I don't know why you would, but you could. And it's because some asshole bought some. And here, in this case, it doesn't even make sense because here's what I love about Mache, Jared. He puts out the shoe. He says, this is how long it's available. It's like 48 hours. You order it then, or you don't get one. So everybody who orders gets a shoe. 2 shoes, to be very clear. A pair of shoes. Because that's what sucks about the sneaker game in 2021. I see a new pair of Nikes is coming out. I want those Nikes. I go try to buy them. They're sold out. That stinks.
The robots win again.
This is pre-order, so you got to wait a couple months after you pay for them. But you're guaranteed a pair of shoes.
That's smart.
That's what I want when I'm trying to buy a pair of shoes, Jared. I want a pair of shoes. I love that he promises me that. If you give me your money, I will give you a pair of shoes. It's a brilliant business plan.
It really is.
They should try this at Nike and Adidas. I think it might catch on.
Because then they can capture more money because they'll sell more shoes.
And then they can make the quality higher because they'll have higher revenue. Oh, they won't do that.
No,
That's right. That's why I like this concept. That's why I like this new wave that has emerged, driven by social media and sneaker artists and sneaker customizers like Mache and the like, making their own shoes and selling them. And in Mache's case, again, makes the amount of shoes that are ordered, slips those shoes, ships the shoes that were ordered, and then they're never available again. So like, there's been a couple that I was like, do I want these shit? $300 is a lot of money, man. I already have a pair. Nope. Like the Minnesota Vikings ones, I was like, damn, those are dope. I don't have purple shoes. I think only Barney had purple shoes until this dude came out with those. But
Prince, right?
And Prince, yeah. We'll get to Prince a little bit later too.
Okay.
He's gonna come back up. Big Prince episode today.
So are you retiring from buying corporate sneakers?
I think I should. I don't think I will. But if I had peaked, if I was my full capabilities, I feel like I would retire from buying corporate sneakers. I got like 40 pairs of sneakers at this point over the past 12 years that I bought. This is unnecessary. I need to start selling those and wearing these bad boys.
What size are you?
10 and a half.
Damn it. I got little boy feet. I'm 9.5 or 10. Like 10.5. There's no 10.5 that would fit me.
Feet sizes are weird with men and women. Why does it's I used to think it was like if you were tall, you had bigger feet. That's not how it works. There's tall dudes with small feet. Short dudes with big ass feet. Weird.
Yeah, is the shoe size, is that the inch? Is that how long your foot is in inches? No. My feet aren't 9.5 inches long. That'd be very short.
Your feet, nah.
But why would they not make that how sizes work? So like, I have 10-inch feet. I'm going to get either a 10 or a 10.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never really thought about this, what the metric is and why I always bug me how like UK sizes are different. 4 different sizes on the inside of the Yeezy now. I don't even know which one I bought. They definitely don't know which one they made. That's another thing about the Yeezy. Every single pair I bought, the 350 in particular, they don't fit the same. Some of them are bigger and I wish I got an 11. Some of them are smaller and I wish I'd gotten a 10. Fucking weird. Hey guys, how hard is that? The answer is pretty hard when you need 10 different factories because you're selling that many shoes.
It's a fair point. I've always wanted to get into the sneaker game. I have bought one pair of sneakers. I bought the Amy Leon Dore New Balances, the basketball ones.
And I would argue those sort of slide in here too, Jared, because the collabs like that, New Balance and that's an example of like those are not cheap. Those are man shoes, not meant to be worn to the frat house and come all over. And they're like a higher quality than the regular New Balance.
Yeah.
It's like buying a Ford Explorer Eddie Bauer edition in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. I love that one.
What an extremely dated reference.
Yep. But you still see those on the road. You still see an Eddie Bauer logo on the back of a car, and you're like, damn, that guy's got some cracked ass leather in that thing.
All they were was just interior leather, but they wrote Eddie Bauer on the seats. Honestly, they should have charged you less. You were now advertising Eddie Bauer every day, all day. Brands are sneaky with that shit.
They are. I've got a question. You have to look at my trash ass shoes every single day. Does that upset you? Because right now I'm wearing a pair of, these are not cheap shoes. These are $160 Adidas Ultra Boosts. However, they're unbelievably dirty, almost comically dirty, to the point where you would never in your life be seen with shoes this dirty unless you literally were walking in the rain.
Those would be like my ACL shoes or going jogging in the rain shoes for sure.
I've never tried to wash them.
Did you also know you could throw those in the washing machine? They'd come out looking like 90% new.
Yeah, you told me. I should probably
those are
do
pretty
that.
fucked up. Normally, it'd be 100%, but those are pretty fucked up.
These are absolutely. The thing is, when you have a dog who is big and runs around in a dog park.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm all too familiar. I have to be very careful with my shoes now that I have the Doberman. I was used to the cat-sized dogs.
Yeah.
Now the huge boy, he'll come galloping up, bro, and you're always one step away from these $300 shoes being worth $0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually terrifying now that I think about it.
To answer your question, not at all. I do not care what shoes anybody else has on their feet at all. In the same vein that, it is super hard to impress me with your sneaker game or whatever, because it's not about you. I don't give a fuck about you.
Except for your lawyer.
It's for me. There's very few people, very, very few people who you can impress me with your sneaker game. It's not like, you couldn't be like, I have this pair of shoes, and I'd be like, sick. Just because the Neil Brennan joke is very real. Ooh, I paid money for these. Like, that's all you did. You made a purchase. There's no bragging to be done here. You made a purchase, right?
Yeah.
It's weird to brag about. So it's like, in that vein, I get it. And in the same way that I don't really care what anybody else thinks about what I'm wearing on my feet, I care what I think. There's just not that many people it's very few people who I care about what they've got on their feet.
You only care what very little people
I care a lot about what little people have on their feet. That's the end of that explanation. Anyway, so yeah, everyone eligible to purchase, fair open market, free open market. You got to wait a bit, but you get what you pay for. And they'll take your money if you want to give it to them.
They will. Are you going to do the rest of the pod with one shoe on?
Yeah, I'm going to do the rest of it. Dude, the bot thing was really annoying. It was just Nike executives that had some secret version of the stupid sneaker app, and then anybody who had a bot, like Shido.
Yeah.
Who hooked me up like twice and then stopped. Not sure what happened there. Fuck him, I'm out. To the custom game. Anyway, so if you want to buy 40 pair of Yeezys, they're all worn like a lot. 10 grand.
Do you have any size 10s? I could probably slide in some 10s.
I bet you I got a pair that'll fit you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go! This episode of RBP is brought to you by Liquid IV. Jared, winter is coming.
It is.
And with it, the colds, the sneezels, and the weasels. To avoid the weasels, you'll need Liquid IV. Hydration is a priority. It makes you feel healthier on a day-to-day basis, fuels you to your highest potential, and one stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. They've been a long-running sponsor of our show. Jared and I have talked endlessly about how delicious they are. Several flavors behind me. I've even got the coveted pina colada flavor behind me, Jared. But yeah, they've got their hydration multiplier plus immune support as well.
Personally, outside of the pina colada, the tangerine flavored.
That's my fave.
Hydration multiplier with
plus
immune support. I love that one. And like Ross said, you're going to be indoors a lot more stuff going and flying around in the air. You're going to be breathing in. That immune support's huge. Can I say what I've been doing recently with my Liquid IV? I have been mixing.
I don't know if you can legally, but I'm going to let you anyway.
I'm going to. Sorry, Liquid IV, if I'm not allowed to suggest this. I take half a packet of pina colada and I mix it with half a packet of strawberry, and I make a Miami Vice Liquid IV, put it over ice. It is so delicious. It tastes like I'm drinking a frozen beverage on the shores of Monte Carlo.
You need to get to a meeting. It's an AA joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, but that's a genius idea. I didn't even think about this.
Miami Vice is all day, every day. It's called J-Bones Liquid IV, Miami Vice, trademark, copyright.
You're going to need them to holler at you, huh? Get our lawyers and their lawyers together. Make a little Liquid IV J-Bone special, the Miami Vice. I love this. Anyway, I drink Liquid IV before recordings. I literally had one before we came into this room. Before runs, before workouts, to make sure I stay hydrated and healthy on the day-to-day, giving my body the tools it needs to fuel the beast. Get your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or order online now and get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code ROSS. At checkout. ROSS. 25% off anything you order when you get better hydration today using promo code ROSS. At liquidiv.com. Jared, I have a question for you that will kick off our next topic of discussion today.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take a shower this morning?
Nope.
Are you a morning or evening shower guy when you hit one?
Almost always night. But I do change it up depending on what's going on.
So I went the first probably, I'm not exaggerating, 20 years of my life showering every single morning, no matter what. There was literally not a morning where I left my property before showering unless it was for a 5 a.m. baseball workout, and those were only one summer. That was one summer of the 20.
I like a morning shower. I think it wakes you up really well. I think it's a nice way to wake up.
That's my biggest argument for them. Far and away, is that it's a kickstart to your day. And if you're not a morning person, and for a lot, if you're listening and you don't even get it, if you are a morning person, just shut up. Just shut up. It's like being born beautiful and smart. Just shut the fuck up. You're good. The rest of us have shit to deal with. If you're a morning person, you hit the lottery already. Your life is infinitely better than ours. Because we have to wake up each day and then take a shower and put it on fucking 0 degrees just to wake up. And then slam 15 coffees, go out back and spank each other's tight little asses.
Speaking of people who are born like beautiful and smart, are you familiar with Armie Hammer?
I am.
Known cannibal.
Yeah, where are you going with that?
Well, so he's somebody who I would say he's smart. He's a beautiful guy, right? And generally.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd call him smart.
I mean, I think some of his thoughts on human flesh consumption are progressive. But what I would say is this. My brother pointed out to me, Ross, do you know what his name is? His real first name?
What is it?
It's Armand. So it's Armand Hammer. It is Arm and Hammer because he is an heir to the Arm & Hammer fortune. I'm not shitting you. The baking soda company, Arm & Hammer.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Yep.
And this is why generational wealth is poisoning our country. Dude, I read more about the Johnson & Johnson family last night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
S.C. Johnson, the family company.
How come every single one of these fucking families has to be filled with, like, all-time dipshits? It is Succession. That's where the show was born. All the families running our country have been rich for too long, and now they're just filled with morons who have zero clue what's going on. And sometimes are pedophiles.
Yeah, I was watching the Crime of the Century documentary.
Crime of the Century, yeah.
And after, in like the second episode of the 2 hours, they're like, yeah, we haven't really talked about it much, but the Johnson & Johnson is actually the all the way at the top kingpin because they're the ones who are paying these like Tasmanian farmers to mine or to farm the opium, and then they distribute it across the world or whatever.
They're apparently still doing that, allegedly.
Oh.
Again, fuck you lawyers. But yes, Jared, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. The Crime of the Century, the HBO documentary about the opioid epidemic and how it unfolded at the behest of the Sackler family and Big Pharma and Purdue Pharma in particular, has a throwaway line almost in episode 2 where they're like, yeah, we're talking about the Sacklers, we're talking about OxyContin, we're talking about it. By the way, Johnson & Johnson bankrolled the entire opioid epidemic.
Yeah,
we're back
like,
to
what?
Johnson & Johnson, we're back to Sackler, and you're like, back to Sackler, back to the opioid epidemic, and you're like, what the fuck?
I mean, I use probably 15 of their products on a daily basis. This is one of the biggest like home care, personal body shit, lubricant probably.
Kleenex, they got fucking all kinds of shit. Yeah, lube for sex. I don't know if they make any of the things I'm saying, but they did put a vaccine in me for COVID. I've got it flowing through my body right now.
Think there's any opioids in there? Get you addicted?
God, I hope so. But yeah, that Johnson & Johnson has been accused of bankrolling the entire opioid crisis by growing all of the poppy that the other pharma company needed to make Oxy.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly still growing hella poppy. And they don't, yeah, it's a bad sitch, bro.
Yeah.
Family company it was started in like 1894 by 3 brothers or some shit. Too long ago. That's too long ago. Too many generations have come and gone. We're left with the dipshits.
And speaking, one thing they talk about in the documentary is like, oh, they are famous for their like no tears kid shampoo, and they cause all these tears. And you use shampoo in the shower, which I do at night, generally.
True enough. I was a both guy forever. Now, like I didn't shower this morning because I showered last night, and I'm trying to be more reasonable.
I mean,
what I found out, you know how some people you'll see them and you're like, God damn, that guy's got good hair. Or girl. I don't know how women do their hair. So I really don't know if you've got good hair if you're a woman. For all I know, that whole shit's fake. No fucking clue. Dudes, though, I've got dude hair, so I know how it works and what kind of has to go into it. And if somebody's got good hair, I can appreciate that. And sometimes you know how you're like, just this fucking guy, look at that flow. I bet you he doesn't wash his hair much.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
I didn't know that. I was washing my hair every single day for 20 years.
I learned this a few years ago. They're like, yeah, if you wash your hair every day, there's like
Bad for
oil.
you.
There's oil in your hair that you want in there because it's good for your hair.
It's like shiny and it makes it like look
Yeah.
cool and shit. And like one day I accidentally was just like, fuck it, or I was too hungover and I didn't shower. But I like combed my hair and got dressed like a real adult. And I was like, I look better than I normally do. What the And then that's when I stopped taking showers every morning.
I mean, I've said this on the podcast before. Like, I don't shower every day.
Right. I don't shower every day anymore either. But I shower if I smell.
Yeah. But like,
Which has been more and more lately, honestly.
if I
I'm
wake
getting
up,
older.
come to the office, sit in a goddamn chair for 8 hours, go home, and not a single drop of sweat formed on me.
Yeah, but
Why would I
that's
shower?
literally never happened, ever. Not once in your life. Lift your arms up right now.
Well, my
Bet
arms.
you're sweating your dick off right
I'm
now.
not gonna do it. I'm not. I will not. I'm not.
I'm
gonna
sweating
do
my dick off. I'm not ashamed of it.
it. That's
Can't see
arm
it.
sweat. My arm
You
sweat.
wouldn't be able to in my Cuts tea anyway because it's sweat stained pit resistant. I don't know if that's true.
My armpits always sweat, regardless of what I'm doing. So like, if I'm
Then
just
you have to shower every day.
no, I just put deodorant on, and then it kind of.
I have deodorant, and I'm not even a stinky dude. And sometimes I'll get home and be like, "Holy hell on earth! What is that? What is dying inside of me that's seeping out through my pores?" And the answer is my soul. Anyway, Dan Big Cat Katz on Twitter was asked about morning or evening showers, and he said, morning. Night shower people creep me out. You just wake up and go to work? What the hell? But I don't think Dan knows about this. Sneaky, maybe he does, though, because he's got good hair. He's a good hair guy. What the hell?
But some people, they still shower. They just don't wash their hair.
We're just mad divided as a country over this, too.
A lot of people, they'll shower and they'll wash the body and they leave the whole entire head situation untouched.
Because there's a lot of crunchy folk that if you told them, I take 2 showers a day, they would stone you to death. That's
too many showers.
Murdering the earth on purpose.
I don't understand the benefit of taking 2 showers a day. That's just selfish.
Oh, it's amazing, though.
So
it is selfish, but it's so good. It's one of those things where as you're doing it, you're like, this isn't right. God, that almost makes it better. It's so naughty.
I mean, we've all sat on the floor of the shower when we're hungover for like half an hour because it just makes you feel better.
Yeah, I do that sometimes in the morning when I'm not hungover.
Feels good. Feels good,
so
man.
Nice. I'm telling you, man, you know that Wim Hof shit? That freak who jumps in the Icelandic ice cap water or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I tried to do his breathing exercise once and I got winded like 30 seconds in. I had to stop. You ever tried a breathing exercise? It's insane.
I've been introduced to it. But his method, he has got a lot of it's tied to mental health, and like I may be mixing 2 different people here. But regardless, that person who jumps in the freezing cold water, that does something to your brain that helps you not just like wake up because it's shocking, but also like it's like a shock to the system. Your whole system. So if you're dealing with depression, it can be super helpful. So sometimes in the morning, I'll just get in the shower, I'll put it on my normal temp, get in, kind of get to feeling good. Then I turn it all the way down as cold as it gets. And you just have to fucking like ride it out. You got to like dance it out, ride it out, fucking wank it out. You know what I'm saying? You got to do something, whatever you need to do to survive the cold, but you got to do it for 1 minute, full 60 seconds, and then you can turn it off and get out and dry off. And you will feel amazing. It's so weird and horrible and awesome. Hate it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
You're not going to do it. No, I know. I know.
That doesn't sound like a great way to start your morning.
It's the best, Jared. You pussy. Do it.
I feel like getting out of the shower feeling all nice and warm is like a nice way to wake up.
Yeah, if you want to be a sleepy, unproductive douche. This episode of RBP is brought to you by Felix Gray, the greatest glasses company in the world. 5 years ago, Felix Gray realized our eyes weren't meant to look at screens all day, and they designed glasses to make daily screen time more comfortable and the workday more productive. I've got several pairs. The Faraday frames, the Nash frames, Jared. My newest pair called the West. Love them all. I have a pair on my face every single night. Been wearing glasses and contacts since I was 12 years old or something like that. Felix Gray make the best in terms of quality and comfort, and the literal comfort that your eyes are getting out of being protected from these freaking screens, Jared. The best I've ever worn. And screens, we can't live without them, but they're burning our fucking eyes out day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, and that's where Felix Gray steps in. Saves all of our fucking lives. There are a lot of blue light glasses on the market. To lump all blue light glasses together, it's like lumping Honda Civics and Teslas together as cars. Most clear light glasses filter 2 to 3% of blue light from screens. Felix Gray.
Boo.
15 times more.
Please clap.
15 times more. Get yourself a pair of glasses made for the 21st century and designed for modern, hardworking eyes. You have nothing to lose except maybe eye strain. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/RBP for the best blue light glasses on the market. That's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/RBP. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. felixgrayglasses.com/RBP. felixgrayglasses.com/RBP. In sad news, Kanye West is sadly no longer with us. No, the artist formerly known as Kanye West legally changed his name to Ye. Just Ye. Yay.
Hear yay, hear yay.
And not like Y-A-Y, like when your girl tells you she's bringing cupcakes over. Like Kanye. Like he cut the K-A-N out. So
Why did he do that?
got that going for him. I don't really know, Jared. Would you legally change your name to J-Bone if we hit 10,000 patrons on Patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast?
If we hit 10,000 and then maintain 10,000 for a year, maybe.
Oh, that's ridiculous, Jared. You won't even do it if we hit 10,000. If we hit 10,000 patrons on Patreon, I'll change my name legally to J-Bone.
Can I change
Fuck
it back
is wrong with
if
you?
I
Be a
need
company
to?
man. Good
Can
God.
I-
Of course.
Okay, then yeah, I'll do
You
it.
think I'm going to make my name J-Bone for the rest of my life? For 10,000 patrons, I will.
Chad Ochocinco did do that. He changed it to Ochocinco for like 5 years and then switched it back to Chad Johnson.
True enough.
So yeah, I'll do
Speaking
it.
of Prince earlier, he became just, well, no. He was Prince. Then he was the artist formerly known as Prince because he changed his name legally to just be a symbol.
Yeah. The symbol that looks like a penis.
The man symbol.
But it looks like a penis
Yeah,
also.
Did look. Well, yeah, I think that was always the point of the man symbol, right? Was it
Is it?
phallic in nature? I think so.
I don't understand where that symbol comes from. It's a weird symbol. Nobody uses that.
The penis?
The man symbol and then the woman symbol.
Jared, you know what they say. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Who made those symbols?
The Egyptians.
Really?
Those are hieroglyphics.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Kanye's had a lot going on. Kim is apparently going through with the divorce. She made a very almost inappropriate joke at his expense on Saturday Night Live when she said that the reason she was divorcing him was his personality. It's kind of funny, though.
Do you think he is changing his name because he convinced himself that if he changes his name, the divorce proceedings against Kanye West will no longer be valid because his name is now Ye?
I'm suspicious that that could be part of his strategy for sure. But this guy needs a therapist as a wife, not a makeup influencer. Like, wife number 2, correct course, lock onto a therapist, execute marriage, yay. That's the next move. Oh, by the way, you got a new haircut to go with the new name, and it's like the I was attacked by a blind person with clippers hairstyle that he's rocking right now. It's almost reminiscent of Britney after she shaved her dome, like his daughter Saint might have legitimately cut his hair, the last line not being a joke. I think it may have been her. That's what he's going with, though. He's like rolling around. He put up a picture on Instagram. Have you not seen it? It literally looks like somebody ran by with a set of clippers, tackled him, got like a good 30 seconds of shaving in, and then Ye beat him off, and he ran off, and that's the haircut he kept.
Ye beat him off. No, I'm looking at this right now.
Bonk.
One of the worst haircuts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, he is trying to pull it off like
See?
it's like it's a style. But when you look at it, it's like atonal jazz music. Like, it's just a bunch of sounds that they go, oh, no.
And you're just like, what?
They're like, this is the style. It's
like,
the style
yeah,
is there's no rhythm.
But sometimes the style is shit, and everyone should avoid it. Just because it exists doesn't mean... Look, he's a habitual line stepper. He unlike many other artists, and like many other artists, is sometimes not capable of seeing the line. He has overstepped it with this haircut. That is not a good look. Do not attempt to replicate whatever he has going on there at home.
You should do that for Halloween. You should be Ye.
Yeah, I don't know if I can sacrifice my due for that, but it really doesn't matter what his hair looks like because he hasn't appeared in public without a mask on since the summer, to my knowledge. And now he's wearing some fucking terrifying Halloween mask everywhere that frankly might come up in his child custody case because he looks... It's like a Jason mask, but make it fashion. That's Kanye's new vibe. That and giant Gap puffy jackets. That's my goat.
Have you shopped at the Yeezy Gap yet?
No.
I kind of want to.
I'm super tempted. I don't want to find out who else is in there. Even if it's online. Who else is in the line? I don't want to know. I don't want to be one of them. That's got to be a list they keep, the government. Here are all the idiots who bought Yeezy Gap products.
If I ever had like a brand of clothing for me, like the J-Bone collection, it would be at Old Navy.
Okay, well, now we have to buy... That sucks. Now we're going to have to make enough money to buy Old Navy just so we can put a J-Bone collection in it. Is it just going to be like the stupid fucking American flag shirts? They just say J-Bone with an exclamation point?
4th of July, 2004.
That was their whole thing. They were like, all right, let's take 4th of July, but make it as boring as possible and turn that into a whole vibe for a clothing line and call it Old Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't it owned by the Gap? I'm pretty sure it's the same ownership, and I think they just slanged generic white people clothing all over the world for like 25 straight years before anybody noticed and was like, stop.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, I can't believe that what used to be the United States Navy is now a clothing company.
Yeah.
It's
the Old Navy.
It's the Old Navy. And
the new Navy,
they've got
run by Rihanna.
What?
Totally different.
What's that mean? Is that a Rihanna joke?
It's what she calls her fan base.
The Navy?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I don't know. Same reason we call ours a gang, probably.
Yeah.
For fun.
The RBP gang.
It's worked out well for her, Jared. She's done well for herself.
Hasn't put out an album in like 30 years now.
It's like George R. R. Martin, dude. Why in the name of God would you finish that book or put out an album when you're making so much money hand over fist doing way easier shit like designing lingerie or cranking out books?
Fashion shows.
George wrote a fucking history book called Fire and Ice or whatever the shit that they've now turned this new HBO show into instead of finishing the other books.
Smart.
Yeah, it's genius. Would make way more money this way, which is where he's at. Like, we're going to have to deal with George R. R. Martin's great grandkids probably screwing up America in some way 120 years from now.
Is he a billionaire?
300 years from now. Is he a billionaire? If he's not yet, he's done some bad deals.
Yeah.
He should be a billionaire. If J.K. Rowling is there and he's not, he fucked up somewhere, which wouldn't shock me.
He doesn't look like a billionaire.
I don't know how connected to reality like that cat is. You've seen him.
I mean, yeah, he writes books about like
fantasy worlds, whole universes that he invented.
And then all the characters are a lot younger in the books than they are in the TV show, and it's like weird.
Wears authentic like 1830s garb.
Yeah.
Like a hobbit.
He looks like a guy who has a humongous model train set in his basement.
Absolutely has a train set. Much like Bobby Bacala in The Sopranos. 2 Sopranos references today. Count them. Love that. Today's episode of RBP also brought to you by Harry's. Have you looked in the mirror recently? Have you, Jared?
Yes.
Yeah? It's because you shaved a mustache into your face.
I did.
But for the rest of us, the scraggly, scruffy, weird-looking beard we've started growing out since 2019 probably needs to go if we're heading back to the office, and a lot of us are. A lot of us are. Time to get back that fresh, clean, all-business look. Let Harry's help your morning shower routine. Shower, shave, and well, you know, Harry's can help make 2 of the 3 easier and better. And if you don't know Harry's, it's time you do. They were created to be different from other shaving companies. I was first introduced to them when I received a Harry's gift box for being an usher in a wedding several years ago. And they were amazing then. They're amazing now. Their products have only gotten better. And their product line has expanded, and all of their stuff is high quality. They make long-lasting blades, durable weighted handles that make a close, comfortable shave quick, and dare we say, enjoyable. And because Harry's insists that you shouldn't have to choose between a great shave and a fair price, they just give you both. Refill blades start as low as $2. New Harry's customers get their starter set, which includes a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel with aloe, and a travel cover. It's a $13 value, all for just $3. $3, Jared. Plus, Harry's offers a whole range of amazing face and body care products for men, all delivered right to your door. I'm a 34-year-old man. I've been shaving since I hit puberty at 24, and I can assure you, Harry's makes the most high-quality shaving experience I've encountered in my decade-plus of facial hair maintenance as a very hairy, manly man who has 0 patches in his facial hair.
None.
There's never been a better time to try Harry's. Go to harrys.com/RBP. Get their starter set for just $3. 100% satisfaction guarantee. You've got nothing to lose. Go to harrys.com/RBP right now to get this special offer. That's HARRYS.com/RBP.
And now, Ross Bolen's Animal of the Week.
Here's an unexpected headline from CNN. Chlamydia is so widespread among koalas, they're getting vaccinated.
I wonder if there's anti-vax koalas.
Do you think there will be a point in our lives where we don't have to talk about vaccines anymore? Because I really hope we get one, bro. I just don't want to talk about it. Even the koalas have to get vaxxed up now. We got to deal with the anti-vaccine koalas. Really? Yeah. You've seen these fuckers, right? You've seen a koala.
I've seen a koala. Yeah, they're supposed to be a lot more dickish than we were led to believe as children.
As a child, this was a top 5 animal for me, right up there with penguins and dogs. I'm not going to give you my whole top 5 right now. You have to pay for that on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, but that's neither here nor there. And then I learned one day that they're vicious fucking assholes, that they'll rip your face right off, eat your eyeballs, not even think twice about it, and then go do a blood orgy together. They're sick. They only eat eucalyptus leaves. We all know that. Turns out the blood of the innocent is what they drink.
Is eucalyptus, that's like a common like essential oil shit thing, right? Like their breath probably smells amazing.
Pandas are also big eucalypti
They eat
consumize.
bamboo. Pandas eat bamboo.
Shit, you're right. Same region. People confuse the two all the time. It's no big deal. Jared, these koalas are H and they need to be bonked hard by the zookeeper or whatever. From CNN, about 400 Australian koalas will be vaccinated against chlamydia as part of a trial that researchers say they hope could play a significant role in the longer-term survival of the animals. Chlamydia, a sexually transmitted disease also found in humans, has spread widely among Australian koalas, affecting half the animals in some areas. That's 50%. It is a cruel disease that causes debilitating conjunctivitis, bladder infections, and at times infertility. Amber Gillett, Australian Zoo Wildlife Hospital veterinarian and coordinator of research, said in a statement on Friday as the trial began. The bacterial disease, which can spread from mothers to their newborns, can also cause blindness. Researchers say the koalas will each receive 1 dose of the vaccine and will be microchipped before being released back into the wild.
So they're getting 2 microchips. They're getting one on the vaccine and then
right,
an
like we
extra
did,
one.
like we did, and then the extra one, I think, to make sure they don't do the blood orgy. That's like a tracking device for the blood orgy, specifically. It goes off if there's a blood orgy about to take place. Estimates of koala populations varies. They're difficult to count in the wild, but a 2016 study by the University of Queensland calculated that there are about 330,000 koalas left in Australia. So it's not as if there's like a shortage per se, but a study by the World Wildlife Fund estimated more than 60,000 koalas had been killed, injured, or affected in some way by Australia's devastating bushfires in 2019 and early 2020. So they took a huge hit, especially in Australia. And on top of that, chlamydia outbreak. And here's one of those things you take for granted as a human. Medicine. We invented that shit. Before, the animals might have rubbed clay on each other's cuts or whatever, but we invented medicine. We're saving the goddamn koalas from themselves. So when you bring up all the bad shit that people do, bombing each other, the pedophiles, blah, 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 you better bring up the fact that we're curing the goddamn koalas of chlamydia. Because without us, Jared, it passes from mother to child, Jared.
Yeah,
It can cause blindness, Jared.
Conjunctivitis. We're going to have a bunch of crusty-eyed koalas out there if we don't intervene.
You want to live in a world with a bunch of fucking blind koalas running around, blood orgying all over the place?
I mean, think how sad it would be to look at a koala who has very crusty eyes from conjunctivitis, who has a bladder infection. It stings when they're pee and they're just going, I don't want to look at that.
They got to get vaxxed to avoid that. And without us, it wouldn't be possible. Without Johnson & Johnson, the koalas would be doomed. In all seriousness, I don't know if Johnson & Johnson is involved at all in the vaccine process for the koalas and their chlamydia, but I would imagine that chlamydia vaccines are a pretty widely made thing at this point.
How much are the koalas fucking if half of them have? I guess it's getting passed on to the kids. So like maybe a fourth of them fucked and they all had kids.
Look, I just got to say, there are a lot of things you can be born with as a person. Being born with chlamydia is some weak ass shit, bro. Can you imagine being born and you just straight up have chlamydia already? You didn't even get to make the mistake yourself of going in unprotected?
That's true.
It's weak. Of course, we have the vaccine, so you're good, but still weak.
Is chlamydia the one they call the drip, or is that gonorrhea?
How do you find that out later? Is that like when your parents have to tell you you're adopted, but it's like, hey, listen, this is something we just want to get out of the way now because God knows you might dig into your medical files one day. When you were born, you had chlamydia. Why? We're not going to talk about it. Daddy had a problem. Problem's since been taken care of. That's all you need to know. And your chlamydia's gone. You better be thankful that we came up with that vaccine before you got here. We should all be taking credit for these, by the way. If the fucking pharma companies, the most evil goddamn people in the world, get to take credit for saving us all, then we all get to take that credit at this point. How many of us are vaxxed? We're over 60% at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We all get to take credit then, even the ones that aren't vaxxed at this point. That's my ruling. Just for me. Fucking koalas, though.
Would you take the chlamydia vaccine?
It's like when they ask Rogan or Kyrie, would you take the COVID-19 vaccine? That's just none of your goddamn business. And I'll thank you to stay out of my personal affairs. Will I take the koala chlamydia vaccine? 100%. Jab me up.
What if?
But I want the koala one, Jared. I don't want just any chlamydia vaccine. Koala.
I just want the microchip.
My dogs are chipped.
Really?
Every year they hit me up and they say, give us $50 more, or if your dog gets lost, we'll tell you to go fuck yourself if you ask us to find it for you. And it's like, are you really going to do that? Because seriously, if I forgot to pay the tab on the chip and one of them gets lost, I'm going up to HomeAway headquarters and kicking in fucking doors until somebody tells me where my goddamn dogs are.
Isn't HomeAway VRBO? I'm pretty sure HomeAway is like vacation rentals.
I think it's what their dog thing is called too.
Imagine you're there slinging vacation rentals. Some guy comes up, my fucking dogs are lost.
Oh, I'm sorry. Home again.
Ah.
Yeah, I think VRBO is HomeAway.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Home again.
Good. I'm happy we saved you from that one.
Sorry, HomeAway. I'm in the office. Just beating somebody's ass. Where is my fucking dog? Sir, this is a HomeAway. And even if it wasn't, you're under arrest.
I don't think we have to pay a yearly subscription fee on our dog's microchip.
They're probably just bleeding me.
That's essentially just a hostage situation.
It's bullshit is what it is, Jared. It's one of many situations that after the fact I look back on and I'm like, hold on now. I'm the customer here.
Hey, we know where your dog is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we know. It's like you're trying to get information from the hotel maitre d' about where your wife is, and the guy's like, I can tell you for a small price. I don't know why he talks that way, but you're like, fuck, and you got to give him $20. That's the whole business plan for Home Again.
Why does he know where your wife is?
Because he watches everybody come and go from the hotel. You've seen the movie Just Married, right? With Ashton Kutcher and the late Brittany Murphy, all-time great comedy.
Why would I have seen that?
I've seen it several times.
I haven't even seen like Dumb and Dumber. Why would I have seen whatever that you just said?
The same reason that you've seen like all of Drive to Survive and yet haven't watched The Sopranos.
Sopranos is, 100 hours of television to watch?
It's a lot.
It's a fuckload.
It's a long ride. It's...
Now,
Dude, how many hours? Okay, let's say I've put in 800 hours to The Sopranos. Let's say. Because that's probably about right.
Yeah.
How much of my life is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that a big enough chunk to where I need to be, like, prepared to explain myself when this is all over?
Well,
hey, bro, how did you spend 6 months of this thing that we gave you, this beautiful journey that we provided you with on Earth? You spent 6 months of it watching Tony Soprano
that's only 1 month.
act like an asshole? That's only 1 month? Okay, I don't feel bad about that.
800 hours is only 1 month.
Holy shit, I'm more than happy to carve out a month for The Sopranos, man.
33 days.
Of like the, let's say, 80 years, let's guess at this point, I'm still kicking. That means if I've made it past 30, I'm getting to 80. Everybody knew that. If I made it to 30, I was making it to 80. They all took bets at the hospital when I was born. I can carve out another at least 3 more months of my life for The Sopranos.
It's like a death pool thing with the nurses.
Yeah, they had one of those for me.
In the nursery. It's kind of fucked.
It is dark. You can see how things have gone since. Anyway, huge month of sports in October as the ALCS and ALDS are still ongoing. World Series upcoming.
The Rays aren't in it.
Astros might not be either, Jared, so don't feel too bad. NFL's in full swing, though. Not that anybody cares about the Texans. NHL season's fired up. NBA season is kicking off as well. Speaking of which, head to our sports betting sponsor, MyBookie.ag now. Use the code RBP when you sign up to get a double deposit bonus. With that code RBP, you can go be a part of their October 29th NBA Lock of the Season bet. Jared, here's the bet. It's the Nuggets versus the Mavericks. You throw $25 on. If anybody scores a basket, you win. And I repeat, not if anybody scores a basket in the first 2 minutes. Not if anybody scores a basket in the first quarter. Not if anybody scores... First of all, if anybody scores a basket isn't a fucking thing. It's a basketball game. Someone's going to score a basket. There will be many, many baskets. What I'm telling you is you put $25 down on Nuggets versus Mavericks, any team to score, on October 29th's NBA Lock of the Season. And it's like that's like the closest thing to free money that you're ever going to get in your entire life.
So it has to end in a 0-0 draw.
Or you win. I'm going to check the history books, but I do not think a basketball game has gone even past the first quarter at 0-0.
There's no way.
because someone scores a basket.
Yeah, they're all out there trying to do that.
That's
So
their whole goal.
when you've got 10 men on a court all trying to get a basket,
Just one basket even, and you win. Which is, it's like, I don't know. It's like betting that the sun is going to come up tomorrow. It's a thing, right? Well, no, that's less sure than this. Because the only way you could possibly be in danger of not winning free money is if somehow the game is canceled. That's it. There's going to be a basket. You put $25 down. If any team scores, you win. So go to MyBookie.ag, use the code RBP to support the podcast. If you bet on sports, MyBookie.ag should be your sports betting home if you want to support RBP when you do your sports betting. So you'll get a double deposit bonus when you use that code RBP at sign up. Make sure you jump on that NBA lock of the season for Mavericks versus Nuggets on the 29th of October, where if, I'll repeat one last time, if any team scores a basket, you win. Fucking outrageous.
unbelievable.
Unbelievable. If you're new to our show, pay attention. Actually, if you're old to our show and not enjoying a third ad-free episode each week with us currently, then listen up. You may have noticed that you got your episode a little later, your Monday episode this week. Jared and I had to switch up the schedule a little bit. Long story short, I'm always going to do what I can to bring you the highest quality episode no matter what, even if that means putting it out a day later than I had initially planned. So what we did put out yesterday was last week's Patreon episode because Jared was on vacation. Long story short, we got it done yesterday. And if you're on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast the week of October 19th, 2021, you will receive 2 ad-free exclusive premium editions of this show, one of which is already available now. So if you're like, damn, you're telling me every week there's not 1, not 2, but 3 episodes of RBP, and I didn't even know about the third because I've only been listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts this whole time. Boom, your brain explodes. Avoid that. Go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast now. Support the show with a minimum $5 pledge. We've got a few different tiers to pick from. You can see what you get in each tier, but everybody on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast is getting at least the ad-free, once a week, usually Friday, premium exclusive episode that nobody else in the world hears except the people on Patreon. It's also where Jared and I have been doing most of our hotline call responses. This one that we did yesterday, very hotline call heavy, very funny. One of my favorite episodes on Patreon as of late, and there have been a lot of good ones. So, at this point, it's like if you go sign up for a month and you get through the month and you hated it that much, message us and I'll fucking refund you.
Yeah, it's some of our best content that Ross and I make.
If you like this show, you will love Patreon, I promise. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, where you're going to get a monthly Bolen Media column. It's an update about what's going on at the company as well. If you're in the Enforcer tier, you'll get 5 additional columns on top of that. If you're in the OG tier, there's other stuff you get in your tier. It's a fucking ridiculous... it's an awesome way to support the show. It's the coolest possible way for you guys to directly support us and get something in exchange. So, ways you can support us. Ways you can make sure that RBP exists and that Bolen Media continues to grow into the future and that we can get the personnel we need in here to do all the different things we need to do for all these brands we've got now. Support our sponsors, of which today we had many. MyBookie.ag, use that code RBP, get in on that NBA bet. Harrys.com/RBP, get in there and up your facial maintenance game now. FelixGrayGlasses.com/RBP. Get yourself some blue light glasses and protect your eyes with good-looking ones. The best, baby, the best. Felix Gray. LiquidIV.com, code Ross for 25% off everything there. Hydrate yourself. Get your immune system what it needs. And then, of course, CutsClothing.com/RBP for 15% off your entire order. Support our sponsors. It's very, very important. We try to bring sponsors that you'll really enjoy, that you'll like, that we really use and wear, like Cuts on my body right now. Like Felix Gray on my face every night, like Liquid IV in my bloodstream with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Probably the only thing keeping it from turning me into a fucking zombie at this point. Support our sponsors and go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today for what a lot of the time ends up being the best episode of the week, the Friday show. Not every time, but sometimes it does. You're not getting all the RBP that exists if you're not on Patreon supporting the show to make sure that we can continue to exist and grow some more.
And we're doing a giveaway for the month of October on Patreon.
Ding, 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 ding.
Giving away a bunch of, I believe it's RBP merch and Liquid IV care package.
All kinds of good stuff in there.
All you got to do is leave us a review on iTunes and then comment there saying you did it, what your review is, and boom, entered to win.
Apple Podcasts. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, write a review, share it with us on our Patreon page if you're one of our patrons and you're entered to win this very cool care package.
You don't even have to be a patron to enter this giveaway, Ross. You just have to, it's a public post.
Oh, how about that?
Because terms and conditions. But yeah.
Interesting.
So there you go.
So go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. And even if you, for whatever reason, want to be a dick and not support the show on Patreon, you could, at the very least, write a review if you never have on Apple Podcasts. Or if you listen on Spotify, there's like a 5-star rating system that some of us have access to, not everybody yet.
I still don't.
And so far, we've got a 5-star rating on RBP, which is huge. So appreciate everybody who has rated us. If you haven't, get in there. Jared and I will be back soon. Again, we appreciate your support. It means a lot to be able to do this show week in and week out. I love it. Jared loves it sometimes. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast today. Peace!